So Nadiya Hussain first appeared on our televisions as a nervous bake-off contestant going on to win the show in 2050.
Nadiya's words after winning the crown brought the nation to absolute tears. It was so lovely. And this clip became a memorable moment in bake-off history, showing the first win by a Muslim woman and illustrating the strength of overcoming mental health issues. Now, Nadiya's parting words are one of the best TV acceptance speeches ever made.
I really struggle to watch it.
Have you ever watched it all?
In bits. I can't watch it all at once. Like,
why?
Yeah, I can't. It's something about watching yourself on telly that's a bit weird anyway.
Yeah.
You get that, right?
Yeah. You kind of get a bit more used to it the more you've done. You've done a fair bit now.
Yeah, I still can't watch it. But my kids love it, so that's good. So if I do anything, the kids are really kind of enthusiastic. I don't know how real that is, but they're supportive. So they do watch it.
Yeah, undoubtedly.
So that was then when you said, I'm never going to accept that I can't because I can. I'm never going to accept that I won't because I will. And now you've got this book, Finding My Voice, which details all the experiences that have moulded you through the years before we came to fall in love with you. That must have been a challenge to write, because not all of them are positive experiences by any means, are they?
It wasn't any... I mean, it's hard to describe the book, because like, I've been asked, is it an autobiography? Now, I don't think you can write an autobiography, because you're still living and there's so much life, and you just, how much of that can you put in a whole book? So it's a memoir of sorts, so I kind of dip in and out of memories from my life, and I've chaptered it into the roles that I've played, and I feel like those are the things that have made me who I am today. So being a mum, being a sister, being a daughter, a wife, and it's all chaptered, so everybody gets their own chapter, and that was quite nice to write it that way. So it was difficult to write because I've got no recipes to hide behind. There's no cake to hide
instructions.
No.
This is the cake that's come out so far, isn't it? We're looking at it because the makeup of you is all the elements that have gone into who you are. And there are some really tricky subjects in this book, Nadiya, things that will be, I think, will shock and hopefully help and guide lots of people. You talk about PTSD, you talk about the sexual assaults you experienced as a small girl as well. That must have been, the thought of putting that into the book and being so honest and open must have been sort of something you toyed with for a while before you decided you had to go in there. I
had to question why I was doing it. So there were moments where I'd written it in, then written it out, and then done that a couple of times. And I said to my husband, I said, look, I'm not going to put this in. And he said, yeah, but ask yourself why you wrote it in the first place. I think things like anxiety, PTSD, sexual abuse, all of these things are things that we don't talk about enough. And I think, I'm not solving the world's problems, but I am talking about them. And I think that's really important because that's the first place. I think that's where we have to start. And I think by sharing it is, of course, I felt vulnerable sharing it because I feel utterly naked stood in front of everyone talking about something that is so close to me. But I know there are people, and I've met loads of people since the book's been out, that have experienced the same thing and said, this is the first time I'm talking about it. And that's got to be a good thing. That has to be.
When did cooking, baking come into your life? Can you remember the moment when you first thought, this is rather magical?
Well, cooking, I've always... my dad used to run restaurants badly, and that's why he doesn't run them anymore. And my mum's an amazing home cook, so cooking's something that I've always done, and my dad's quite...
Did they just, like, pass you and say, chop that, or do...
Not really. My mum hated us being in the kitchen. Dad was quite experimental, so he's like, come in here, let's do this. And so my mum hates it when I turn up. She's like, please, you and your dad stay out of my kitchen. So we make a mess and we go in there and have a great time. But baking was something I never did. I didn't do it till I was in high school, and I didn't really start baking till I was 21. My mum used to store all her frying pans in the oven, and that's what I thought it was. I thought it was a cupboard. I did.
Well, because nobody baked in your house?
Well, I thought it was just a cupboard.
So you just use the gas, you just use the stove?
Just the top bit and the grill, but we never used... And then I went into my cookery class in high school, and she turns the cupboard on. I said, you're mad. Why are you doing that? And she said, we're baking a cake in there. Well, hold on a second. So this is... And that's when it dawned on me. And that, that magic has never left me. Even now, when I see my kids kind of peering over the oven, it just... Like, it brings joy because just it's that magic of doing something outside and putting it in and saying,
There's that
There
lovely
is
picture, look.
alchemy, isn't there, in baking a cake? You put all these ingredients in
No,
there,
amazing.
and then they rise mysteriously. It is a bit of Harry Potter, I think,
wonderful.
baking.
It's
It
a
is
wonderful
wonderful.
thing, and I think baking and cooking and being creative, it's helped me with my anxiety, with my PTSD. So that's something that I use, and it's a great tool to talk. So when my kids are feeling a little bit down, I'm like, should we make some cookies? And funny how when they're not making eye contact and they're concentrating on something, everything just they just share, and I use that as an excuse to get them to talk.
Were you nervous about putting some of the more personal things in there, knowing that you've got children that I'm sure have read the book?
Yeah, so my boys are 12 and 13, and my little girl is 9, and she doesn't even care about it. She's not bothered. It's not got pictures in it. She's not bothered. But the boys have read it, and that was hard for me because I was the couple of days that they took to read it, I was kind of nervous because they were jumping in with a couple of questions here and there, and you know, I did have to say, guys, can we not talk about the abuse at 7 o'clock in the morning when I'm trying to have my breakfast? Please, thank you. Let's leave that till lunchtime. But they've been lovely and wonderful, and I think they've got a better understanding of women. They've got a better understanding of the relationships that I have with my family members, and I think they have a different appreciation for the kind of the good with the bad, and I think they appreciate what my parents went through to get me where I am.
Did one of them say that there's better writers out there, though? Yeah, it's all right, Mum.
Yeah, he did say. He goes, yeah, I mean, it's all right, but I bet there's better writers out there.
That's a healthy son, you know, mum
Response, isn't it?
relationship,
Well,
isn't
yeah,
it?
it was the same one that said to me, you won Bake Off like 4 years ago. Why are you still famous? Feet firmly on the ground.
As it should be. Look, we're thrilled to bits that you've come in to talk about this. Best of luck with the
Great.
book.
Thank
With the
you.
book, it's a searingly honest read, but there's so much in there that's really, really special. So thank you so much. Now we know that one of your favourite things on Desert Island Discs was Marmite.
Yes.
Is this right?
Yeah.
Which Ben hates, by the way.
So I'm not sure
he
why
is
they've
the
done
hate
this,
it,
but
not
look,
the love
the
it
berries-
equation.
So much Marmite!
They've done more Marmite than you
All
could possibly ever
especially
need.
for you.
All with your name on it as well.
I've got my name on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.